lot of President Trump supporters here.
Greatest movement in the history of our country.
Joe Biden refuses, as the leader of the Democrat Party, to speak out and put an end to the lawlessness.
He's a shame of our country. The VA, as I said earlier, was just a mess under the Obama-Biden administration.
How many police officers need to be assaulted in the streets of Portland by radical left mobs in order for Joe Biden to condemn this?
I don't understand how we have leaders who think that it's okay to tell us as parents that our kids can go and get an abortion without our consent, yet we have no right to keep them home from school. It's completely hypocritical.
Can't believe that he's calling these folks peaceful protesters.
Well, I think Joe Biden is totally on the wrong page on this, and he's completely out of step with where American women are when they talk about how to protect their families.
We are one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. We will make America great again.
Welcome to Team Trump Online.
Wednesday just got better because the ladies are live, discussing the hottest topics of the week with you tonight.
And we will make America great again.
Hey everybody, I'm Lara Trump and welcome to The Right View. With me as always is Kimberly Guilfoyle, Mercedes Schlapp, and Katrina Pierson. I have two of them here in person. Here. Kimberly, we miss you. I don't know what's going on. We got to get you here in person, hopefully soon. And be sure to like and share this broadcast, of course, with all your friends.
Raising the money.
Yeah, I know you're bringing in all the money so that we can just hang out here. So right. thank you for doing the tough work. I think we have to start at the top, ladies, with the big news that we heard yesterday. And in case anyone at home was not paying attention, Joe Biden's staff finally told him who his vice presidential pick was. And drum roll, please, it's a real loser. It's Kamala Harris.
What a surprise.
You know, this pick,
shocking.
I want to get everybody's thoughts on this as we start out today, because this is just, it's very lackluster to me. You know, when you pick a vice presidential candidate, oftentimes you would think that would be, especially in Joe Biden's case, since we know he's a radical socialist now, maybe somebody that was more moderate, pull him closer to the middle. Mercedes, let me start with you. What was your thought initially about this?
It was like the most unsurprised that I've been in a very, very long time, especially when Joe Biden does this on like a virtual setting where he's reading the script. It's all going wrong. I mean, anyone who were his advisor should have been like, we got to make this into a big deal. There was nothing of a big deal.
He needed it written down
exactly.
So he could remind himself. They literally had a script, Kimberly, there so that he could see exactly who they had chosen for him as his pick, because I don't know if he would have remembered. What did you think of that?
As you guys know, I worked with Kamala Harris in the district attorney's office in San Francisco. So I've had quite a few experiences with her and very familiar, with her record. I'm not surprised that he picked her. I think he was pushed into it. I think, Mercedes, you're right when you said that really it should be the Harris-Biden ticket because that's what they intend. So make no mistake about it. There's nobody that has ambition like Kamala Harris, and her record really has been one of failure to the minority community, to women, especially to African Americans. And I think when the American people actually get all the truth and the facts out about her, they're going to be able to make a pretty quick decision about the lack of qualification or suitability for this country of that ticket. And I look forward to all the evidence and facts coming out about her and about Joe Biden, and let the American people make an informed decision.
Well, I want to ask you, Katrina, because this is something that I feel like we've just been out on a bus tour. We got back yesterday from being in Pennsylvania. We get to talk to a lot of women. And I have always said that it's ridiculous for anybody to choose a running mate or a candidate for that matter based on their looks. And we know that right out of the gate, that's what Joe Biden did. He said, I want to pick a woman, and it could be likely a woman of color. So instead of choosing someone based on qualifications, this is what he did. Do you think women will buy it?
Well, I think this is the definition of sexism,
yeah.
Right? I'm going to pick a woman so the women will fall in line. But I do think that, to Mercedes and Kimberly's point, it's absolutely a Harris-Biden ticket. Kimberly's right. The ambition is there. But I'll also say that I think the public has seen a lot of the facts come out on her. That's why she didn't gain traction during the presidential primary,
2%.
polling at the lowest that you could possibly think of and dropping out even before her home state.
Yeah.
So I think that tells you a lot. But the biggest thing I think it is a huge red flag for the Democrat Party, because the last few months we've been told that Joe Biden is leading in all the polls, at least by 10 points or more, and that he's got the black vote locked up. Well, if that were true, ladies, you would not see a Kamala Harris running mate. So I think that's our clue.
Yeah, well, this will be a very interesting election going forward. I will say that, look, I think that we get to see President Trump and Joe Biden, hopefully in 4 debates. We would like to see that happen. But we do get to see our own Vice President Mike Pence debate Kamala Harris, and we will see what's going to happen there. I want to show the audience at home who phony Kamala Harris really is, because if you haven't been paying attention, you might have missed a few things. Let's watch this clip.
Kamala Harris ran for president by rushing to the radical left, embracing Bernie's plan for socialized medicine, calling for trillions in new taxes, attacking Joe Biden for racist policies. Voters rejected Harris. They smartly spotted a phony. But not Joe Biden. He's not that smart. Biden calls himself a transition candidate. He is handing over the reins to Kamala while they jointly embrace the radical left. Slow Joe and phony Kamala. Perfect together. Wrong for America.
Well, they
that's absolutely
are wrong for America, that's for sure. And I think on November 3rd, we'll see that very clearly. Kimberly, any final thoughts for our audience after seeing that clip? I mean, that is a very powerful ad that the campaign just put out.
It is. It's right on the money. It hits it on the head big time. They are perfect for each other and deadly wrong for America. They complement each other in so many ways, because she's corrupt, she wants to be president, and she will say or do absolutely anything to make it happen. Sound like someone you know? Joe Biden, exactly. She wants to eliminate private health care for American citizens while financing health care for illegal immigrants using our tax dollars. And she wants to legalize illegal border crossings. And she compared our law enforcement officers to the KKK. She is the radical left, and as far left as they come. She's not just morally and intellectually bankrupt. Voters recognize quickly that she's a fake and she's a phony during the Democrat primary. Just like you said, Katrina, they were like, canceled her out. Nobody wanted her, and nobody wants Joe Biden. It's just who's left. They're like leftovers in the fridge. 4 days later, only Don Jr. might eat that. Okay. She flamed out. Yeah, true fact. She flamed out so quickly, but unlike Joe Biden, who's half coherent, we don't even know what he's saying, she's going to go after it. And she tried to destroy him. So he's picking somebody like that was knifing him in the back all the way to the ballot box. And while he's going to be napping now, she'll be knifing him now. So let's see what happens with all this. Sleepy Joe might as well sleep right through November 3rd, because Kamala's going to walk all over him. And it's up to the American voters if you're going to let her walk into the White House.
I mean, I don't think we can top that. That was pretty solid. Yeah, that says it all, quite frankly. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Stay right with us. We'll see you right back here for more of The Right View.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Kamala Harris ran for president by rushing to the radical left, embracing Bernie's plan for socialized medicine, calling for trillions in new taxes, attacking Joe Biden for racist policies. Voters rejected Harris. They smartly spotted a phony. But not Joe Biden. He's not that smart. Biden calls himself a transition candidate. He is handing over the reins to Kamala while they jointly embrace the radical left. Slow Joe and phony Kamala. Perfect together, wrong for America.
Welcome back to The Right View. I'm Kimberly Guilfoyle, National Chair of Trump Victory Finance Committee. And joining us now is New York Congresswoman Elise Stefanik. Congresswoman Stefanik, thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Great to be with you, Kimberly.
Fantastic. So now the mainstream media is already providing cover for the Biden-Harris ticket. We saw it all yesterday. And the New York Times labeled Kamala Harris as a pragmatic moderate. Congresswoman Stefanik, as a colleague of Senator Harris on Capitol Hill, can you explain how that label actually couldn't be further from the truth?
Well, it's just factually inaccurate. This is the most far-left Democratic presidential ticket in our nation's history. Take a look at Kamala Harris's record in the Senate. She was one of the first co-sponsors of Bernie Sanders' Medicare for All. That means she wants to cancel private health care insurance that would take away health care for tens of millions of Americans. Certainly, that's not a popular position, and that's not a moderate position. In addition, she is anti-Second Amendment, she is anti-Constitution, and she has a record of just running further and further to the left. She also has embraced the Green New Deal. So she's very much akin to the far-left progressive parts of the Democratic Party, like AOC. This shows Joe Biden's desperation to run further and further to the left, and he's really beholden to the far-left progressive wing of the Democratic Party. This is not our grandparents' Democratic Party. As I said, this is the most far-left radical ticket in our nation's history.
It's so true. People
people
begin to find this out very quickly.
Yeah, so let's play this clip. Now, this is very popular, this very popular clip of Kamala Harris during the primary debates, and we'll get your reaction.
It's personal, and I was actually it was hurtful to hear you talk about the reputations of two United States senators who built their reputations and career on the segregation of race in this country. And it was not only that, but you also worked with them to oppose busing.
So, Congresswoman Stefanik, I mean, were you surprised that Kamala Harris agreed to join the ticket after she infamously accused Joe Biden of being racist?
I was surprised because if you look back at the Democratic primary debates, Kamala Harris is known for her attack lines against Joe Biden when it comes to his history of, frankly, racist positions. And we've seen just recently Joe Biden make very concerning statements that he's had to clarify and apologize for. For example, saying that there is not diversity within the African-American community. They had to put out a clarification, which was not an apology, but they had to put that out within 24 hours. And if you look back, Kamala Harris had demanded an apology from Joe Biden, which she never got. So we know that Joe Biden has a history of making these very concerning statements. So I was a bit surprised that Kamala Harris joined the ticket. But most importantly, voters are concerned. And if you look at polls, they think this vice presidential choice is one of the most important decisions that the Democratic nominee Joe Biden will make because of his age. So she is frankly a puppet presidency, which shows how concerning this is because her policies are so far to the left.
Well, all throughout her failed Democratic primary, Kamala Harris gleefully embraced the left's radical manifesto. Let's watch this clip.
You support the Medicare for All bill, I think initially co-sponsored by Senator Bernie Sanders. You're also a co-sponsor on it. I believe it will totally eliminate private insurance. So for people out there who like their insurance, they don't get to keep it?
Let's eliminate all of that. Let's move on.
Yeah, let's eliminate all of that. Congresswoman Stefanik, you actually just referenced this earlier with Kimberly. The private health insurance plans that more than 160 million Americans rely on will be banned under Joe Biden. So how much will Americans' lives change for the worse under a Joe Biden, Kamala Harris administration?
Americans' lives will change significantly. This is the destruction of patient-centered healthcare. This is a government takeover of healthcare, and I trust candidates at their words. She said, let's eliminate it. Yep. That means over 160 million Americans, as you said, Lara, that would be a cancellation of their insurance. Employer-provided health care is the cornerstone of high-quality, accessible, affordable insurance for the vast majority of Americans. And certainly in my district and across the country, people don't want a government takeover of health care. They know that quality will decline, and they know that costs will increase. In addition, that means it will be trillions of dollars of new taxes, which goes right along with Joe Biden's economic proposals of $4 trillion in new taxes. So again, Kamala Harris has run further and further to the left. As I said, she was one of the earliest co-sponsors of Medicare for All, which is the destruction and cancellation of private sector healthcare, which is so important to hundreds of millions of Americans.
So, ladies, we talk about Biden-Harris, but we know the reality, it's Harris-Biden. It seems to be the ticket, right? So let me ask you, a recent Rasmussen poll states that nearly 60% of likely voters think Joe Biden is unlikely to finish a 4-year term in the White House. Congresswoman, given that, how is Joe Biden nothing but a weak transition candidate?
Well, we saw even when he was making the call to Kamala Harris to inform her that she was his selection, that he had his phone upside down and an actual typed out script from his staff. So clearly this is a heavily managed candidate who does not want to leave his basement. And that's why this election of vice president deserves a tremendous amount of scrutiny, because we know that not only are her policies far to the left, but essentially, this is a presidency in waiting. Already, you're seeing the press articles talk about how this automatically makes her a contender for 2024. So first of all, they don't understand that the energy is for President Trump. They have to get through 2020 first, and we know the enthusiasm and energy is on our side with our voters. But this election is important, and frankly, if you look at Kamala Harris's effectiveness in the Senate, she's actually one of the least effective senators in getting things done. So her record deserves scrutiny, and it deserves to be under a microscope as voters go to the polls this November.
Yeah, Congresswoman Stefanik, can you tell our viewers why you believe that Americans are going to resoundingly reject the failures of the Biden-Harris ticket?
Well, I'm proud to be one of the leading voices in New York State and across the country supporting President Trump and Vice President Pence, running on their record of results, whether it's focusing on economic growth, whether it's really a historic economic rescue package during this very challenging pandemic, whether it's their investments in Operation Warp Speed to have the fastest access to a vaccination in history of humanity, whether it's rebuilding our nation's military. We know that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are part of the far left. They are anti-law enforcement. They are anti-Constitution. They want to raise taxes by trillions of dollars. They want to cancel private sector health care, which would cancel health care for hundreds of millions of Americans. That is not what voters want in this country. They want a record of results. They want someone who can get things done rather than radical far left politicians, particularly in Joe Biden's case, who has been in office for over 40 years and is part of the problem, not part of the solution. So that's why I'm proud to be strongly supporting President Trump and Vice President Pence as we sprint to the finish and win this November.
Fantastic. Sounds good. And we want to thank you so much. A huge thank you to a talented, accomplished Congresswoman doing a great job for the taxpayers, Congresswoman Stefanik. Thanks for being on The Right View, and we'll be right back after this quick commercial break.
Seattle's pledged to defund its police department by 50%, even including a proposal to remove 911 dispatchers from police control.
Joe Biden said he's absolutely on board with defunding the police. Listen closely.
Yes, absolutely.
Hello, you've reached 911. I'm sorry that there is no one here to answer your emergency call, but leave a message and we'll get back to you as soon as we can.
Crime will rise significantly.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
My administration will take all necessary steps to safeguard our citizens from this threat.
Hysterical xenophobia.
Giving Americans a false sense.
Is it accurate that if these steps had not been put in place, it could have been 2 million people dead here in the United States?
Yes.
No matter how hard they try to stop us, they can't. We built the greatest economy the world has ever seen, and we're going to do it again. Together, we're beating back the invisible enemy.
What the federal government did was a phenomenal accomplishment.
Through it all, the world has witnessed the unyielding resolve of our incredible American people.
Promise made,
promise kept.
And I'm fighting for you, and I love doing it with everything that I have. And you know that. With the grace of God, we will win this war, and we will win this war quickly. And we will make America great again.
Welcome back to The Right View. I'm Mercedes Schlapp, Senior Advisor for Strategic Communications. The Trump campaign recently requested that the Commission of Presidential Debates add a fourth presidential debate between President Trump and Joe Biden. Lara, can you explain why this request is so important at this time?
Well, there are a couple of things here. First of all, the first debate is on September 29th, scheduled for September 29th. And we know that there will be numerous states and up to 8 million people across this country that will cast a vote via absentee ballot before that debate. So what we're telling people is it's not important for you to see these two individuals on a stage together. Just go out and make a selection for whoever you want. That's totally ridiculous. And I might add to that in a year like 2020, when we've had a global pandemic, when you haven't seen candidates out campaigning in a normal fashion, when quite frankly, Joe Biden has been hiding in his basement, this is vitally important. People, before they cast a single vote for the president of the United States, need to see these two men on stage for two reasons. They need to know, number one, that Joe Biden has all his mental faculties about him, which I think most people are questioning. We know in a poll recently that around 53% of Americans think that he's in the early stages of dementia. Very important to get him on stage and see what his cognitive abilities are and whether he's firing on all cylinders. We also want people to see the vast and extreme differences between President Donald Trump, a man that stands up for the freedoms of America, a man that stands up for keeping America, America, and Joe Biden and now Kamala Harris, who have been very clear in Joe Biden's own words, he wants to fundamentally transform America. So we need people in this country to be able to see these two men on a stage, compare the ideas, and make sure they understand that there is no way we are going the way of socialism, which is what a Biden-Harris ticket would offer America. And it's just, it makes sense. No, you've never had a chance to see this guy out. He's literally been hiding in the basement. Even when Jill's doing an interview upstairs in their living room, he's Skyping in on the computer. It's ridiculous. So we need a fourth debate, or they need to move that September 29th debate forward a couple of weeks. So only the fair thing to do.
I got to tell you, though, I think Kamala probably took the key, locked the door, and just left Joe Biden in the basement. That's my prediction. Don't you think? Don't you think, Katrina? Of course, Joe Biden in his campaign rejected the request for more debates. Surprise, surprise. Katrina, why is Joe Biden, why is he so afraid to debate the best debater in the world, Donald J. Trump?
I think you just gave us the story. But I mean, to Laura's point, right? I mean, look, this is the opportunity where voters get to actually see the two candidates, hear them compare their opinions and policies without the media filter.
Right. That's the important part.
Right now, Joe Biden's hiding and the media is covering for him. So it's easy for him. This is why he doesn't want to debate. But the other reason I think is because he might not remember his running mate, Kamala Harris. Because remember, he forgot about her existence during the
Should we make them note cards? Maybe you'll have note cards at the debate. What do you think?
So I think Laura hit it spot on. His cognitive abilities will be on full display if he did debate the toughest, strongest, fastest debater in the country right now.
I love that.
Can't wait.
I love that. Kimberly.
Excited.
I know. Joe Biden has run his campaign bunkered down in his basement in Delaware, as the ladies were talking about. The presidential debates could be the only time he's going to leave his house from now until Election Day. Maybe today, I know he's going to go out in Delaware to unveil Kamala Harris. But what kind of, what did you say?
Go upstairs.
Go upstairs?
Yeah, let him out for
a few hours
and get a little
bring him
sun.
back in.
That's nice.
I know. Well, okay. Let's see if he can remember his speech during that time. What kind of key contrast do you expect to see President Trump highlight in these critical debates?
Well, competency right out the gate, number one, leadership and coherence, and in his case, lack of coherence. For starters, President Trump would wipe the floor with Joe Biden during those debates. And Joe's prime, which in case anyone missed it, it was so unremarkable, was about 25 years ago. And we all know that Biden, that the Democrats are trying to guide through this election, is just literally just like a former shell of himself. That's it. They're just trying to push him forward. It's very sad. He should consult with his wife/sister, and someone should step in and stop this massacre, because that's what it's really going to be. That's why he doesn't want to debate the president. That's why no one that supports him wants him to debate the president. You already see his unofficial staff in the media, unpaid volunteers for Biden, the mainstream media, trying to argue for no debates. They're literally saying, do not debate, because they know how bad it'll be. And the reality is, we don't know what Joe Biden is going to say, because Joe Biden has been run by a teleprompter for the past year. His consultants are losing sleep every night. They're absolutely terrified of what he's going to try to say in the debate stage. I mean, it's going to be a car wreck completely. Is it going to be something racist, offensive?
Probably.
Is he going to try to sniff President Trump? Is it going to be something that alienates himself from mainstream voters? All of this is likely. However, whatever it is, it will expose him as completely unfit to govern and to lead, and you can take that to the bank.
Yeah, that's no
Absolutely.
question. Unfit, unprepared. Maybe Kamala shows up in the background and is like photo,
Well,
because
don't forget, he's looking he's looking for the first clean and articulate vice presidential running mate that happens to be a black woman. Don't forget, that's what he said about Barack Obama back in the day, clean and articulate. So he would know, because he's sniffing everybody. Clearly he did that with Kamala Harris, so that might be why.
Anyways, we are going to take one more commercial break. Don't go anywhere.
As we have already seen, his America First agenda has lifted all Americans up and have empowered them with true economic emancipation that has once again made the American dream possible. That's why I want you to text EMPOWER to 88022 right now if you want to keep America great and deliver 4 more years for President Donald J. Trump.
Welcome back to The Right View. I'm Katrina Pierson, Senior Advisor for President Trump's re-election campaign. Now, I want to get everyone's final thoughts, but first, here are a few ways that you can help and get involved to re-elect President Trump this November. Download the Trump 2020 app. It is available on Apple and Android, and sign up to volunteer, register for events, and win exclusive prizes. And to stay in contact with us, please text Trump to 88022. And if you, your friends or family or neighbors want to get involved in our fight to re-elect President Trump, please visit armyfortrump.com to sign up. Now, let's get to everyone's final thoughts, but I want to say, many of you may remember State Representative Karen Whitsett. She was a Democrat in Detroit, and she was censored by the Democrat Party after she praised President Trump for promoting his use of hydrochloroquine, and she championed him because she used it, and she insists that it helped her get better. Now, the Democrat machine backed a primary challenger against her, a very well-funded one at that. And this challenger was backed by Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, and Rashida Tlaib. They raised $500,000 against her.
Wow, that's for...
She was outspent massively, but last week, she was able to retain that seat.
Amazing.
She defeated the Democrat machine in a Democrat district in Michigan. So I just want to say congratulations to State Representative Karen Whitsett for being strong and being bold, praising the president, and still maintaining the 9th District State House in Michigan.
That's amazing. Good for her.
Mercy, what are your final thoughts?
Well, we just got off of the pink bus, and we'll be getting back on again soon in the great state of Pennsylvania. And I got to tell you, every time we meet with those volunteers,
it's amazing.
It is. Yeah. It's like the enthusiasm is there. They're knocking on doors. They're making phone calls.
Yeah. So if you want to volunteer, we're going to come probably see you wherever you are across the country. So
I know.
armyfortrump.com.
No kidding. And I think one of the moments that I loved not only was meeting one of the sheriffs that talked about how the president is so committed to law enforcement, but also it was Jim and Jean and Becca over at the printing company. They've been open for 32 years. I mean, it started with nothing. Now they have all these employees. And thanks to President Trump's leadership in the Paycheck Protection Program, they were able to keep open and make sure that they could pay their employees. So again, it's a great story of the great work the president is doing. We love being on the road. We love being with the people. And while Joe Biden and Kamala continue their virtual tour of a very boring campaign, we are out there.
We are
talking to the people about President Trump's great message and great accomplishments that he's done so far.
Well, I think that it was beautiful. And remember, Becca delayed her wedding.
She did. She's getting married in October.
Yeah.
So
She's going to get married.
maybe
so
on my birthday, October 12th. Just throwing it out there. It's an option.
That's right.
It's an option.
What, you need a cake or something? What are we talking about here? Who's baking
really
the cake?
Sweet. It's very sweet.
Yes.
You know, these can be some very moving
They are.
events that we go to out there. So we hope we get to see you all. Kimberly, what about you? What are your final thoughts this week?
Yeah, well, it's been pretty exciting. This week I was able to spend a couple days in Wyoming with leader Kevin McCarthy and some of our amazing group of Republican candidates who are fighting to take back the House. And I have to tell you, after spending time with this group of America First candidates that support President Trump, amazing people like Nancy Mace, real fighters from South Carolina, okay, first woman to graduate from the Citadel, Dan Rodimer from Nevada, Madison Cawthorn from North Carolina, Lara, your state, and Burgess Owens, my friend from Utah. I am so fired up and excited about 2020. We aren't just going to deliver 4 more years of President Trump. We are going to take back the House, and we're going to keep the Senate and crush it, and we're going to save this country under President Trump's leadership. It is very exciting to see the enthusiasm. You see the numbers bumping up in the polls. You guys are out doing the bus tour. I really think like we're firing on all cylinders while everyone else wants to hide in their basement at the shock and thought of this Biden-Harris ticket. So I love it. I'm heading right now over to South Carolina, and then North Carolina, and then Pennsylvania, and then New Jersey, New York, and then Texas. But you gotta love it. We gotta fight for this country. We only have about 82 some days left. I'm really excited. People are fired up about President Trump and his leadership and how he's really gonna get this economy back up and running again versus the economic collapse we would face under a Biden-Harris ticket.
You know, I have to say thank you to Kimberly because you're keeping the bus full of gas for us so
That's
we can
right.
keep going and we can visit everybody.
You girls
else
be
across the
using a lot of gas too, let me tell you.
I mean, there are a lot of us on the bus, so you know.
We do need an extra supply of M&Ms for someone who likes
peanut
to
butter.
eat
Peanut butter.
please.
Again, my birthday's October 12th. I'm just throwing it out there.
All right, raise some money for that. We need a special a fund for that.
If anybody can do that, Kimberly, you can.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
we do
So
things.
on it.
But there is a lot of events coming up. You know, she said 82 days left.
That's right.
Biden has a pick now. Laura, what's coming up next week? What are your final thoughts?
Well, we will see the Democrats give their version of a convention next week. And they actually had some of their speakers leaked. And I got to tell you, it's a real wah-wah show of political hacks from the past and nobody wants to hear from. People that have tried to run for president. Some have run for president and failed. So we're going to get to hear from all of them on the Democrat side next week. That will be, rather depressing, but you can always tune in right here to Team Trump Online. We're going to give you our feedback during all of that. So be sure to tune in and check out what we have to say. On a personal note, though, I had a very big milestone happen in my family this weekend. My daughter Carolina took her first steps, and it was sort of amazing. And I actually caught it on video, which is I know she's going to be a year old this month, so. I know it was pretty amazing. Aww. So around our house, I know I don't have a baby anymore, and no, that doesn't mean I need to have another one. At least not until after November 3rd. So with that though, it was a great week. And look, we have so much to come. This really feels like we're headed towards November 3rd with a lot of steam. Now that the Biden-Harris ticket is sealed, their fate is sealed, the doom is sealed for the Democrat Party / the Socialist Party. So I think it's all going well.
And you know what's the best part of this? How many women do we talk to whenever we go to these field offices?
Oh,
It is like
it's all women.
A ton of women, and then you see like the 2 or 3 guys, there. It's phenomenal.
It's
amazing.
amazing.
It just really is phenomenal.
It's just like 2016. You turn on the news and you see and hear one thing, and then you go out with the people, and it's completely the opposite. So we're so excited to get out there and do so much more. Yeah. So thank you, ladies, for your final thoughts. And I want to give a huge thank you to all of our amazing supporters at home for tuning in. We will see you all next time as we continue to fight to re-elect President Donald J. Trump and keep America great. See you next time.